So I was watching a few videos about the Pixel, and it kind of got me thinking. It's no wonder that they're not as widespread as they would like to be. What I mean by that is like go to anywhere that's crowded. Go to your local mall, go to the store, go wherever there's a lot of people. And I'll bet you the Pixel phones are going to be the phones that you see the very least. You're most likely going to see a ton of iPhones, a ton of Galaxies, even a few Onepluses that I've personally seen. But I haven't really ever seen any Pixel phones. In fact, I've only seen one Pixel phone out in the wild. And it's not really a surprise, which is pretty crazy because, it's Google. Who doesn't know Google, right? But a ton of people don't know Google Pixel phones. But is it that really surprising? I don't think so because, Google came out of nowhere with the Pixel phones. They priced them as high as the iPhone and as high as the Samsung phones, all while having a ton of issues. They had microphone issues, screen issues, Wi-Fi issues, GPS issues. I think some units didn't even charge to its full potential. So you could see how that could probably ruin a company's kind of reputation on phones, especially when you price them as high as flagships. Don't get me wrong, I love the Pixel phones. I just think they're simply overpriced. I think everyone should at least try a Pixel phone because the Pixel experience, the stock Google experience is fantastic. Again, just way overpriced, especially in terms of specs. I mean, take a look at the video capabilities of the Pixel 4. The Pixel 4 that just came out not that long ago. 4K 30 rear, 1080p 30 front. I mean, the iPhone 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, they do 4K 60 on every single lens. It doesn't matter the selfie camera or the back three lenses. All of them are capable of 4K 60. I mean, sure, the photo capability of the Pixel 4, or really any Pixel, even the Pixel 2, still looks pretty good in the photo department when compared to in 2020 phones. Even the Pixel 2 still looks really damn good. But you can't judge camera just on photo alone. You have to judge camera on photo and video, and Pixel is really only just good for photo. So when the Pixel 3a came out, I absolutely loved it. Now keep in mind, the Pixel 3a is everything that the Pixel 3 is, except a little bit worse in almost all categories. So what made me like it so damn much? Wait for it. The price. I've eaten some cheap steaks in my life, and to me, at least, those cheap steaks, or I should say cheap steaks, I couldn't really notice a difference between a cheap steak and a medium to expensive steak. So would I personally go out and eat the medium to expensive steak when the cheap steaks, at least for me, were just as good? Absolutely not. And the same principle applies here. The Pixel 3a is generally pretty much the same thing as the Pixel 3, except it's priced at $400. And let's be honest here, that really helped Google push out their brand of Pixel phones. There's a reason why Google sends out their Pixel phones to almost every tech reviewer. I've seen reviewers as low as 5,000 subscribers get the Pixel 3a from Google. In fact, me myself on my primary channel, I think I had 17,000 subscribers when I got sent the Pixel 3a from Google. And then Google again sent me the Pixel 4, but that was around 45,000 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers. There's a reason why Google does this, okay? You don't see Apple or Samsung or even OnePlus send out phones to YouTubers with 5,000 subscribers or even 50,000 subscribers. You don't see Google doing that, or you don't see those companies doing that. But Google does it. Why? Easy. To spread their brand. But the other companies I just mentioned, they don't do that because they already have a great brand and outlook. I mean, OnePlus isn't even that new or isn't even that old. OnePlus just recently kind of came out into the market, like 6-7 years ago. And they're doing fantastic in other parts of the world. Even in the USA, I've seen a good fair share of OnePlus phones. Way more than I've seen Pixel phones. The Pixel 4a is going to be a much better phone than the Pixel 4, just as the Pixel 3a was a much better phone than a Pixel 3, because they're generally going to be the same thing, just with a little bit worse specs, but the user experience is going to be the same. And it's also rumored to be at $400. But Google has kind of a tough time, at least this year, because Google really needs to wow us for people to buy the Pixel 4a. Here's the reason why. Because the Pixel 4, like I said, the video capabilities aren't that great. And if the Pixel 4 couldn't do 4K 60, I highly doubt the Pixel 4a is going to do 4K 60. And that's a problem because Apple is releasing their budget phone as well. I think the iPhone 9. The iPhone 9 is going to have 4K, or it's going to be able to record 4K 60. And get this, Apple, damn. Not only are they capable of doing 4K 60, but Apple's also putting in the Apple A13 chip, the same chip that's inside this $1,300 iPhone. But see, what Google does is to knock down the price of the phone, they put in worse actual specs. So, for example, the Pixel 4 has the Snapdragon 855, but the Pixel 4a is rumored to have the Snapdragon 700 series. I think the 730G to be exact. So they're putting in a worse CPU and GPU pretty much. But with the iPhone, they're keeping it the same. Look back on the Pixel 4 reveal, right? When they were revealing the camera. The thing that pissed me off, and I've said this before on my main channel, but the thing that pissed me off is that Google, when they were announcing the camera, we obviously noticed there is no ultra wide camera. What did Google say? Google said, well, we think the telephoto is more important. See, that's the thing, Google. You guys shouldn't release a phone on what you think the phone should be. You should release a phone on what your customers want. After all, the customers are the people that are going to be buying the phone. I mean, it seems like common sense to me. You know, if people, 2019, let's be honest, was the year for ultra wide. Almost even budget phones had ultra wide. So for Google to release a phone in late 2019 onto 2020, because obviously if you got the phone and you're going to be using it most of 2020. And so for you to own a flagship phone in 2020 and not have ultra wide, what? And plus, I've taken a ton of photos with the ultra wide that I couldn't otherwise get. Not possible. But with telephoto, especially a 2x zoom, that's equivalent to like 6 feet of walking forward. Just walk up 6 feet. You'll get the same image, or at least the same zoom. Just walk 6 feet. It's easy. With ultra wide though, you can't just step back and get the same effect as an ultra wide. It doesn't work like that. So back to what I was trying to say, Google needs to wow us for people to buy their phones, especially if they're pricing it at flagship levels. In the USA at the moment, there's really only two main companies that rule the entire United States of America, right? You got iPhone, Apple, then you got Samsung Galaxy. Those two phones are the majority of what you will find if you go out to the mall and you go up to random people and say, hey, what phone do you have? The majority of cases is going to be either one of those two things, Apple or Samsung. That's it. So, and here's the reason why they got the market covered in USA, right? You get iPhone if you want simplicity, right? You get Galaxy if you want a lot of features, right? And you just like Android. That pretty much, if you think about it, covers the entire spectrum of what people want. You either want simplistic, you want a simplistic phone that'll last you 5-6 years, or you want a feature-packed phone. So Google kind of falls in between, but it doesn't really offer a lot of what those two offer. So for example, Google Pixel is an Android with not a lot of features, but it's also not iOS, so it's not going to get you that 5-year, 6-year updates, and it's not going to give you that same simplicity, same ecosystem that Apple would give you. Technically, yeah, you would get that same ecosystem if you had your entire house with, Google products. But again, looking back onto simplicity, iPhone is definitely way more simplistic than Pixel. Google should just focus more on features and not specs, because specs aren't everything, as we know. So for example, if you were to start your own phone company, what would you do, right? Would you either A, straight ahead price your phone at flagship levels, or would you B, price your phone at mid-range level, even budget level, but focus more on the features, right? personally, I would do B, right? I would make a phone that has a decent amount of features, a decent amount of specs, and sell it at a mid-range level so my phone would reach the mass public, and then I would work my way up into the flagship area. And this is proof because that's what OnePlus did. When OnePlus came out, I think the OnePlus One was $400, or I think $399, the OnePlus One, and it had pretty good specs on it. And that's what helped them get their brand out, because tech YouTubers got their hands on it, and the tech YouTubers saw that this $400 phone was primarily working almost similarly to flagships. So more and more people decided to buy it. And then what OnePlus did is they soon started to up their price while also upping their specs. So OnePlus is proof of you should always start, especially if no one really knows that you make a phone, start out by selling that phone decently cheap, but make it work good. And again, speaking back onto OnePlus, they're not that, they came out recently. They're not that old. Like I said, 6-7 years maybe. And I've seen more OnePluses in the United States than Pixel phones. That's to me, that's just shocking. Okay, because again, Google, like everyone knows Google. Everybody knows Google. But go up to someone, hey, do you know what a Google Pixel is? No. Now you can make an argument and say, listen, Mark, Google isn't a phone company. And that's true. Google is not a phone company. They're more of a software company, a search engine company. I get that. But listen, man, Tesla isn't a car company, but they're making cars that are literally outperforming supercars. So what I'm trying to say is if you're going to do something, do it. Tesla wouldn't be successful if they, as in Elon Musk and the entire company, didn't put their entire efforts into making a car that, again, is outperforming every single car out there and is literally changing the way automobile manufacturers are building their cars. Now we are, thanks to Tesla, we are seeing way more electric vehicles either coming out or pretty much coming out very, very soon, all thanks to Tesla. And Tesla's what, 16 years? I think Tesla Motors is 16 years old. So a car company that came out 16 years ago is changing literally the world. But Google is, the Pixel is still kind of, it's there. It's somewhere around there. So I'm excited for the Pixel 4a. I really am, because I know that I'm going to like it a lot more than the Pixel 4. But here's my problem. Again, with that iPhone coming out. Now, could Google put in better specs in the Pixel 4a than the Pixel 4? Sure. But I don't think they're going to do that, because then there's going to be no reason to buy the Pixel 4. So I kind of think that Apple is going to win the budget market, at least in the United States, at least at that $400 price market. But what do you guys think about the Google Pixel? Are they on the right track? Are they kind of, running amok? Kind of curious to see all these answers. So yeah, leave them in the comments down below. And if you got this far, leave a cat emoji. And if you don't have a cat emoji, if you're on the computer, just comment cat or something. All right, guys, this was Mark from Mark's Tech Talk, and I'll see you guys later.